to today's Take 5. Today we are going to be taking 5 in Acts chapter 8, starting in verse 1. It says, "And Saul approved of their killing him." They're talking about Stephen here. "On that day, a great persecution broke out against the church in Jerusalem, and all except the apostles were scattered throughout Judea and Samaria. Godly men buried Stephen and mourned for him deeply. But Saul began to destroy the church. Going from house to house, he dragged off both men and women and put them in prison. Those who had been scattered preached the word wherever they went. Philip went down to a city in Samaria and proclaimed the Messiah there. When the crowds heard Philip and saw the signs he performed, they all paid close attention to what he had said. For with shrieks, impure spirits came out of many, and many who were paralyzed or lame were healed. So there was great joy in that city." So what we see here is the murder of Stephen created this massive persecution, and the ringleader was led by Saul. The ringleader was Saul. And as Clark mentioned yesterday, we're going to see where Saul is going to be known as Paul and ends up following Jesus and becoming a Christian. But before that, he was not the best guy, to kind of just put it blatantly. He was dragging off both men and women, going from house to house and just putting them in prison. He wanted to kill the church. And it would be common for us to think, man, like in the face of intense persecution, to kind of shriek back and hide. A couple of years ago, I was talking with this woman who was a missionary in China. And in conversation, she was talking about the intense persecution there for Christians. And somebody had mentioned that they would be praying that the persecution would stop. And she very quickly corrected us and said, do not be praying for that. Don't be praying that the persecution stops. Be praying for the Christians and that they can endure and that they will stay steadfast to the Lord. And so that told us pretty quickly, but also it's written here in Acts that even in the face of intense persecution, the gospel will still go forth. The gospel is a fire that cannot be tamed. And I want to highlight a specific verse in this section that we read. Verse 4, it says, "Those who had been scattered preached the word wherever they went." So do we have enough, not if we have enough faith, but do we have a love for the truth, so much so that we are willing to be scattered, that we are willing to be placed wherever, however, so the gospel will go forth. And here we have these Christians who just loved God. They loved the Lord, and their mission was to serve him. And I think we can kind of get in a mindset where we too love the Lord, love God, but we also love our comfort. This past weekend at Snowbird, they're talking about renting houses and how if you rent a house, you can have, ownership, kind of. You can use every room except for this room. And the renter can say, oh, you can't use this room because that's their house. And they can tell you what rooms you can and can't use. However, if they own the house, nobody can tell you what you can do with each room. And the same goes for Jesus. Is Jesus renting your heart or is he owning it? And so if he's owning it, you don't care about comfort. You don't care about financial stability. You don't care about anything else except for the gospel and the furtherance of it. And so wherever you go, you're telling people about Jesus. The mission field isn't just in Africa. It's not just in Clarkston. It's not just in Costa Rica or all these other bigger places. The mission field is right in your backyard. It's in Walmart. It's in the parking lot. It's on the phone call with a telemarketer. It is whenever you're trying to call customer service to fix your Amazon order or something. Like the mission field doesn't have a certain limit. The mission field is everywhere, and everywhere people need the gospel. And so I want to encourage you guys just as you go about your day to have that in mind. Be about the gospel, be about the Lord's business, and tell everybody and anybody. People need the truth, they need hope, and we have that. And so what are you going to do to share that today? Okay, have a great day. Bye.